There comes a moment in life when you realize that drifting is no longer an option. When you feel the quiet discomfort of knowing that you have been moving but not advancing, when the days blur together and your energy is being spent but not invested. That moment can be terrifying, but it can also be the doorway to everything you have been waiting for. Today I am going to talk about how you can take that moment and turn it into a lifelong advantage, how you can set goals in a way that is not only authentic to who you are, but powerful enough to pull you through any setback, and how growth, when fueled by purpose, becomes unstoppable. Before we dive into this journey together, I want to say this: if you are someone who is tired of watching life happen to you instead of through you, then make sure you connect with this channel in every way you can. Hit the subscribe button, not because I told you to, but because you have decided that your growth is worth protecting. Tap that like button. If you know that your potential is too big to keep hidden, share this with someone who needs to be reminded of who they are. And drop a comment below telling me the one thing you are committing to after this video. This is not just content. This is a conversation, and your voice belongs in it. The truth about authentic goal setting is that most people misunderstand it. They think it is about choosing something they can achieve quickly so they can check a box and move on. But authentic goal setting is not about speed. It is about alignment. It is about finding a goal that sits so deep in your core that chasing it becomes part of your identity. Here is the problem with most goals: they are borrowed from friends, family, social media trends. Someone sees a new business opportunity online and they say, I am going to do that too. Someone else sees a picture of a perfect body and decides they will train for the same look. But when you chase borrowed goals, you end up living borrowed lives. You might reach the finish line only to discover that it was never your race to run. Purpose-led growth changes that. It asks you to strip away the noise and ask yourself, what do I actually want? Not what will make me look successful, but what will make me feel alive? What will keep me showing up when the applause has stopped? What will I fight for when no one is watching? And once you find that purpose, everything changes. Discipline becomes less of a chore and more of a commitment to your self-sacrifice. Stops feeling like loss and starts feeling like investment. You stop asking how long will it take and start asking, how far can I go? Let me give you the first story to make this real. There was a man who seemed to have everything together on the outside. Steady job, decent house routine that kept him busy enough to avoid thinking about what he really wanted, but deep inside there was a hunger, a quiet ache for something more. He had convinced himself that it was too late to change. Until one day, a friend asked him a question that pierced through every excuse he had ever told himself. What would you do if you could not fail? He laughed at first, but the question stayed with him for days. It followed him around like an echo, until one night he sat down with a blank page and wrote the first answer that came to him. Teach, not teach in a school, but teach. Life show people the lessons he had learned the hard way so they would not have to. It scared him to write it down because it felt impossible. But that fear was the proof he needed. It meant the dream was alive. Within a year he had walked away from the job that drained him. He started small, speaking to groups for free. Some nights only 2 people would show up, but he spoke as if the room was full, because in his mind, it was not about the size of the audience, it was about the depth of the impact. Years later, the same man was speaking to thousands, writing books that reached across the world, and living days that felt more real than the previous decades combined. That is the power of purpose-led growth. It takes an ordinary life and infuses it with extraordinary meaning. It does not happen overnight, but when it happens, it feels like it always belonged to you. Now let me share the second story. It is not about a man or a woman, but about a tree, the Chinese bamboo tree. When you plant it, nothing happens in the first year, nothing in the second or third. By the 4th year, most people give up. But the farmer who knows the truth keeps watering it every day. Then in the 5th year, something incredible happens. In 6 short weeks, the bamboo shoots up more than 80 feet into the air. And here is what most people get wrong. It did not grow 80 feet in 6 weeks. It grew that much in 5 years, but the growth was hidden underground. The roots were building the strength to hold what was coming. Year. Life is the same. Your goals are the same. You may be working in the dark right now. You may be showing up every day and seeing no results yet. But if you keep watering your dream, if you keep protecting your roots, one day you will experience growth so sudden and so massive that people will call it luck. They will not see the years you spend in the shadows, but you will know. And here is where the deeper truth comes in. Purpose-led growth is not only about the big wins, it is about becoming the kind of person who cannot be shaken by temporary losses. When you have authentic goals, you stop being addicted to instant results. You understand that your worth is not tied to how quickly things happen. You know that time is working for you, not against you. Think about the mountain climber who trains for years before ever touching the peak, the hours before dawn, the weight carried on every step, the cold, the wind, the exhaustion. Why does the climber keep going? Because the summit is not just a place, it is a transformation. When you get there, you are not the same person who started. That is what purpose-led growth does for you. It turns every challenge into preparation and every delay into refinement. This is where most people fail and where you will not. They set goals to impress you, will set goals to express who you are. They chase milestones that fade. You will chase impact that lasts. And so I say to you, do not rush the seasons of your life. There is a rhythm to real success. There are winters when it feels like nothing is happening. There are springs when opportunities start to bloom. There are summers when you are working long hot days to keep everything alive, and there are autumns when you harvest what you planted years ago. If you abandon the process in one season, you never see the next. So, as you leave this moment, carry these truths with you. Purpose is the compass, discipline is the map, growth is the road, and persistence is the engine that will get you there. You will not always be clapped for, you will not always be seen, but one day you will be undeniable. And when that day comes, you will not just have reached your goal, you will have become the kind of person who can create another one even bigger. Keep walking. Keep watering your bamboo. Year is coming. There is a quiet power in persistence that most overlook. It does not roar or demand attention, but it whispers steadily, drawing you forward when the world is loudest, telling you to quit. This power is cultivated in the small, unseen moments when no one else watches, when your mind begs for rest, when your heart wrestles with doubt. Those moments are the seeds from which greatness grows. If you learn to embrace the discomfort rather than flee from it, you will find yourself standing taller, moving faster, and thinking clearer than you ever thought possible. This is the paradox of growth. The path that appears hardest to walk is often the one that leads to the richest destination. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality, but it is also the toughest gatekeeper. It does not respond to motivation alone, because motivation is fickle and fleeting. Instead, discipline answers to habit, environment, and the story you tell yourself about who you are. When you set a goal with purpose, you create a new identity, a person who shows up, who overcomes, who wins. The challenge is to nurture that identity daily until it becomes the foundation upon which every choice rests. Now imagine the shape of your ideal day. What would it look like if every action you took was a deliberate step toward your purpose? Visualize waking up with clarity, engaging in a morning ritual that ignites your focus, then moving through tasks with intention instead of distraction. Each moment aligned with your values, each choice reinforcing your direction. This is not a fantasy, but a practical blueprint for success. It is within reach if you commit to designing your days with care and defending that design fiercely. But life will test you. Obstacles will rise. Unexpected storms will threaten your progress. These moments reveal character more than any victory ever will. When your plan is disrupted, how do you respond? Do you crumble under pressure or bend and adapt? The strongest people are those who learn to pivot gracefully, finding new paths without losing sight of the destination. Flexibility and resilience are not signs of weakness. They are marks of wisdom and strength. To cultivate resilience, you must first master your mindset. Negative thoughts and fears are like weeds in a garden. If left unchecked, they will overrun your best intentions. Practice awareness of your inner dialogue. When self-doubt whispers that you are not enough, counter it with evidence of your progress. Celebrate every small win, no matter how insignificant it seems. This is not arrogance, it is truth. You are growing every day, and acknowledging that builds momentum. In your pursuit, surround yourself with people who uplift and challenge you. Community is more than comfort, it is fuel. Seek out mentors who have walked the path before, and peers who will match your pace and hold you accountable. Share your journey openly, because vulnerability invites support and connection. The isolation that often accompanies big goals can drain even the strongest. But connection refills your tank and sharpens your focus. Let us talk about failure, because it is not the enemy you imagine it to be. Failure is a teacher wearing a harsh but honest face. Each setback contains information: what worked, what did not, where you miscalculated. Embrace failure as a necessary step on the path. Those who never fail rarely ever win, because winning requires risk, and risk includes the possibility of falling. The difference between those who succeed and those who quit lies in their response to failure. Choose to learn, to adjust, and to press on stronger than before. As you develop your discipline, create systems that support your goals instead of relying solely on willpower. Systems automate good behavior by reducing the number of decisions you have to make. Design your environment to minimize distractions and temptations. Batch similar tasks together to increase efficiency. Schedule your high-energy work during your peak focus times. The smarter your system, the easier it is to stay consistent without burning out. It is also critical to guard your energy fiercely. Success is not about working harder endlessly, but about working smarter and recovering fully. Prioritize rest and quality sleep as non-negotiable elements of your plan. Incorporate breaks and activities that replenish your mind and body. The balance between effort and recovery is the rhythm that sustains long-term achievement. As the months unfold, you will find that the process of growth is less about reaching a final destination and more about becoming the person who can keep climbing. Your goals will evolve as you evolve. Allow space for change without losing sight of your core values. Flexibility in goals is not failure, it is adaptation. Be willing to refine your vision as you gain new insights and experiences. Remember, the journey of transformation is not a straight line. It is filled with curves, plateaus, and occasional backward steps. This complexity is part of the richness of life. Each twist is an opportunity to deepen your understanding, to strengthen your resolve, and to reaffirm your commitment to your purpose. In closing, carry this promise with you: the life you desire is built on daily choices made with intention and courage. The greatest wealth you will ever accumulate is the discipline to say no to what distracts you and yes to what elevates you. When you gamify your goals by turning every decision into a purposeful move, you harness a power greater than motivation or luck, the power of consistent action aligned with deep meaning. Start today by committing to one small action that aligns with your values. It could be as simple as writing down your core goal, setting a morning routine, or saying no to an impulse purchase. That single step is the beginning of momentum, the spark that ignites change. Take it boldly and with the confidence that every step forward, no matter how small, brings you closer to the life you were meant to live. You are not defined by your past or the setbacks you have faced. You are defined by your willingness to rise again and again with purpose burning bright inside you. Walk forward, knowing that the game you are playing is not just about wealth or success, but about becoming the person who wins with integrity, patience, and unshakable resolve. Your no by year is not just a challenge, it is a transformation. Embrace it fully, and watch as it shapes not only your finances, but your character, your confidence, and your freedom. The journey ahead will test you, but it will also reward you in ways that money cannot buy.